let's start just by having you tell a little bit about your background, and then I'm going to jump kind of straight into talking about the community you built before meeting Freeplay
Sure.
and what kind of contributed to that growth. So maybe kind of tie those two stories in together, and we'll start with that.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, hi, I'm Jasmine. A little, quick background of my story. In 2018, I was at home on maternity leave with my two children. I had just had my second daughter. I now have three kids, but I was at home with 202. I had gained probably about 100 plus pounds in about a year prior to getting pregnant, and then got pregnant, and then, of course, gained some more weight from that. And postpartum was just, over 300 pounds and very physically unwell, just not feeling the best, and, made a decision that I had to make some changes. And I did, made lots of changes, changed the way I was eating, changed my movement, all of that stuff. And in 2018, I lost 120 pounds. And I began about 2 months into my journey. I started to document it on Instagram, kind of on a whim. Never really had any intentions of it blowing up. I just, I didn't even really know that was a thing until I got into that world and saw that other people this was a thing. People were sharing their weight loss journeys online, and it grew very quickly. I had a photo kind of, before and after that went a little bit viral, and people just started coming, and it was all very new to me. I didn't really have any expectations at all. And within a year, just at the end of 2018, early 2019, I made the decision to leave my 9 to 5, which was, I was a social worker. I say I am a social worker still, I think always will be, but was working as a medical social worker Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, sitting in an office all day. And, financially, it didn't make sense. I was bringing in more income in a few days than I was, biweekly at my job, sitting at my desk, through different affiliations and partnerships with other brands. And, I wanted to be home, be my own boss, be able to be around my kids, set my own hours, and made the decision to go full out online virtually, and got a bunch of certifications, kind of just started slowly enrolling in different programs over, since 2019 and up until now, and continuing to do so. So became a certified personal trainer, became a certified boot camp and HIIT instructor, became a certified nutrition coach, became a certified behavioral change specialist, just continued to kind of pad my resume for this world. And it's just that's kind of where we are now, just continuing to grow and coach people online and do these classes. And it's really kind of a dream, to be honest.
That's awesome. It's been super fun to watch.
Yeah.
I've obviously been watching you for well over a year now, just because of my time there at Vouray. And so I wanted to ask you if you had to put your finger on what it was about your story or your journey that really contributed to the growth of your community before coming to Freeplay. What would you guess is that factor, that X factor that made your story so appealing to people?
I think there's two. I mean, I think the obvious, which led people there, was the drastic change that I had in such a short amount of time, right? I did have an amazing transformation. I was an athlete years and years ago. So I know there's some muscle memory. So, I was really successful in that journey. People like to see that, right? A success story. But, you can start to follow somebody, but then it's about keeping people around. And like you said, creating a real engaged community, which I have. And it really does feel like a family. It's a little cheesy, but I have a very great group that follows me and supports me to the end. And it's amazing. And I think that comes from just me being myself. And like I said, this kind of really happened organically. I wasn't trying. Sometimes you can go online and you can kind of see people are trying to grow, and it doesn't feel real. You can almost sense that it feels a little bit fake. It doesn't feel like that's that real person. And people are smart, and they'll call you out on your bullshit. And as we all know, people do that online a lot, have lots to say. And, I remain consistent because I'm just being myself. And that authenticity piece, if I have a bad day, I talk about it. I don't pretend like it was great. If I'm having a bad day, if I go completely off track, if I'm not doing what I said I was going to do, I talk about that, because one, it helps me, it's accountability, but also I think it helps others to see that, other people have bad days, other people aren't perfect all of the time, which isn't what we always see, right? We see a lot of highlight reels, and I share about that. I say I'm struggling with my mental health today. I'm struggling with this. So on the good days, I talk about that. And on the bad days, I talk about that as well. And I think it makes people feel more connected to you. And I think it makes them feel more normal, because I think far too often we're always comparing ourselves to others and thinking that, oh, well, they don't have any problems or there's nothing going wrong with them. So it helps create that connection. And, they know that I'm also a mom of 3 and life is crazy, but that's okay. You can still reach your goals with all of this craziness.
Yeah. You mentioned a few keywords in there that we'll touch on, some of my favorite buzzwords that we'll touch on here in a minute. We have a lot of instructors coming to Freeplay who in most cases have an existing community. Mm-hmm. And frankly, it doesn't matter how big that community is when they come to Freeplay. The key is, how do you take this momentum you've built in one space and convert it into a space like Freeplay that is really meant to be your hub for the fitness side of your life? Right. Talk to me about that transition. How have you kind of taken that momentum you had from Instagram and that following to those who were really interested in being part of that, the coaching side of your life?
Yeah. So I think, a lot of teasers, right? Talking about, I'm doing this workout today, or this is a program that I'm putting together, talking a lot about that on my stories. And for me, my stories are kind of where I'm at all the time. Some people it's posting on their page. So, figure out what what gets the best engagement for you. Is it your stories or is it your posts? And talk about it, right? Talk about it day to day. Right? I'm doing a workout here. I'm planning this workout here. It's just people want to hear about it and see you working it into your regular day to day. And, every day I'm talking about the Freeplay app, whether or not I'm doing a workout that day, which usually I am. And that's another piece, doing lots of lives and giving people lots of opportunity to get in on it and see what it's all about, because everybody likes free, right? Everybody likes that. And, I thought about it early on. I said, it's going to be a little bit of a long game, right? Because, people want to know what it's about. $8, $9, $10, whatever it is, they still want to know what they're paying for, right? So, I thought, I'm going to give it 2 months of really solid, intense lives as often as I can, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, as often as I can, talking about it all the time, not shoving it down people's throats, not a sale, but just talking about how much fun it is, how much I love it, right? And eventually people are going to say, oh, let me check that out. What is this all about? Right? So that's kind of how I've made the transition. And it's happening always, right? I'm continuing to talk about it. The more people that come, the more they talk about it. I ask people, I say, if you did today's workout, be sure to share it in your stories, tag me, so then I can reshare, and then other people see others doing it. So, hey, it's not just Jasmine talking about how great it is. Other people are enjoying it as well.
Awesome. So you've done a great job of leveraging that existing community to kind of bring people in, giving them something they can try for free, a live stream. You have also built a fantastic subscriber base. These are people who are paying you on a monthly basis for that on-demand content. I'd love to hear more about how that transition looks, right? You've got your existing community on a Freeplay, and now it's those people who are enjoying something for free. How do you then take those folks and turn them into really loyal subscribers to you? What do you feel like it is it's getting those people excited about being part of a subscriber group versus just coming in and sampling classes for free here and there?
Right. So I was thinking about this question earlier today, and I really think being able to convert people over to subscribers has been, like I said, really putting in those couple of months of very consistent 4 or 5 days a week free lives. So it gets people hooked in, right? They enjoy it. They have a schedule. My schedule stays quite similar, right? So people know what to expect. I do similar workouts. So, let's say I'm doing lower bodies on Tuesday, I continue to do those lower bodies on Tuesday. I just mix it up a little bit, right? So to keep everything fresh, but people know what to expect. So they come in, they know they're doing, Wednesday upper body workout. One day of the week, I always do an evening, Wednesday evenings. And I have a whole group that there's about 30 people who tag each other after my Wednesday evening workout because they call themselves the evening crew, right? So, people begin to, and they're, I'm telling them, comment, let me know how you're doing on this rest period, right? Put an emoji, right? So it creates that community. So people like to engage in that piece as well. So having all of those lives, and then most recently, as now that we're able to upload subscriber only content, I've dropped my lives down to 3 a week. So I took 2 away. So the people that were really enjoying that 5 days a week are now saying, oh no, wait a second, these were my workouts from Monday to Friday, right? So I didn't, just say, okay, I'm done my lives, I'm only doing 1 or 2, still getting that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, still continuing that, because even, the live still builds the on-demand profile there, but then saying, I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursdays are just for subscribers only. Let me know what content you guys want to see. So if you're subscribed to me, what workouts do you want? Do you want just core? Do you want glute workouts? So I'm asking them, you tell me, what do you want from me? What kind of workouts do you guys want to see? So I'm telling them, send me an email. I give them my email, or I say, message me on Instagram. I'm putting question boxes on my stories on Instagram so I can see what people want. And they know that, okay, I have a bit of a say in this, right? If I want workouts specific to this, Jasmine's going to create one for us. And then I'm telling that to my people who aren't subscribed to me, and I'm posting it and saying, just posted today's glute workout. If you're a subscriber, go ahead. And I'm, telling them, if you want to join in, you can join me on the Freeplay app, $9.99 to subscribe, etc. So showing those people who aren't subscribed, this is what the subscribers are getting today. So being able to engage them and then also kind of hook them in with those 5 days a week and then drop off a little bit. So they're kind of missing out on those other 2 days.
Awesome. So a couple of key things that I kind of heard in there. And by the way, I've seen you teach a class, and one of the things that you do a really, really good job of is you don't have that camera awkwardness. In other words, it feels like you're teaching a live class, in-person class.
I love it so much. Yeah.
And I see you interact with the comments that are on there. You're acknowledging people and welcoming people, and all of those things send really important social cues that, especially in the fitness scene, are really important to feel that sense of belonging when you're in space. And so other things that I thought were fantastic: creating exclusive content in your library, right? So as you mentioned, a few weeks ago, we released the ability for instructors to upload their own videos, their own content into their on-demand library. Mm-hmm. That's a great way, obviously, to build a little bit of exclusivity and scarcity for content they cannot get live. And I also like the fact that, and frankly, just because I know how busy you are, I love the fact that you were able to go down to 3 classes a week, and yet you still have a ton of value that people can access, both for free and now on demand. So the last thing I want to ask is, now that you've gone through this process, you've kind of weathered the storms, and you also did it at a time when the app was still pretty dang new. So you really helped troubleshoot a lot of things, and you're still helping us troubleshoot a lot of things. But what advice would you have for someone who's either just getting started or maybe just getting started figuring out how to make Freeplay work a little bit better for them? Where would you kind of recommend that they put their time and focus early on?
I would say, I think if you have a platform already, if it's, a Facebook page or an Instagram page, like you said, and you're a fitness kind of person on there and you share on there, or if you've been an instructor in person and you have a clientele already, really use that platform that you already have and push it there and try to, bring them over where you're at and just talk about it. Right. And like I said, talk about it naturally, right? Don't try to just, and this is a hard thing to do, and it takes time, right? If you're someone who doesn't talk on your stories a lot, maybe like you said, maybe you feel a little bit awkward, but just talk about it a little bit. I'm just going down, I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a workout today, or I'm going to go plan my workout for the Freeplay app. Would love for you to be there. Just casual conversation about it. And in my experience, being, you know, an influencer, a content creator, people don't like being sold something. So when it feels like a sale, I think we've all, you know, been in that situation where you walk into a store, you know, a car dealership, and someone asks you if you want some help, and you say, just browsing. And then you say, okay, let me know if you need anything. We need to be the let me know if you need anything, not the following you around the store, right? So leave it open to them, and then they're making the decision, but continue to talk about it, right? Don't just talk about it once, talk about it a couple of times, talk about what you're doing for it, why it's going to be fun, ask people what kind of workouts they'd like to see so that they feel included. And one other thing that I wanted to, you just made me think of it when you were saying, talking about me doing my classes. I always ask people for feedback, right? How did you like the class? What would you like to see differently? And that gives people, you know, they feel like they're part of it, which, as we all know, that's tough virtually, right? If you're right there with someone, you can watch them working, you can encourage them because you can see maybe they're starting to get a little bit tired. You can see them. That's different, right? But when you're virtual, it's a little bit tougher. So like you said, you want to make them feel like they're a part of it, that they're included. So asking them what they would like to see, what kind of workouts would be preferable to them. And then one of the biggest things, and I get such great feedback about this, I think, in my opinion, it's the number one thing that's made my experience on Freeplay so good and continue to, you know, to do so well, is the fact that my classes are hard for almost everybody, meaning, but doable, meaning I provide modifications for every single class. And I always tell people, even if you can't do the modification, I want you walking in place, right? There's no giving up here. We don't stop moving. We're only here for 30 minutes. You can do this for 30 minutes. So I'm teaching my classes while encouraging people. And this comes directly from the fact that I was 315 pounds. And I was nervous. I would never have done a fitness class, virtual or in person, never, ever, ever. Just wouldn't. And I know that so many people feel like that. One, from experience, and two, from personal experience, and then two, from coaching people. I do mindset coaching as well. People who want to lose weight, but, you know, can't get over the mental block, which, as we all know, is huge. And that's what people say. You know, I'm not fit enough to do that. Could I come to your classes? I don't think I could do that. Right? So always providing modifications, letting people know that's okay. And if I get tired or I'm like dying or I need to modify, I do. And I say, you know, I'm going to my knees for these push-ups because I'm really tired, but I'm not going to quit. My body wants to quit, but I'm going to push through, because I think sometimes people feel, I know that people feel like fitness instructors don't get tired, or that fitness instructors are just like these, you know, never, you know, everything's always perfect, our form's always amazing. And I just let people know that's not real life. And it's okay. I'm dying here. I just fell. I lost my balance. We're going to keep going. It's okay if you do the same, that kind of thing. And that is the feedback that I get from people the most, when after a class, they'll say, it was my first time. Thank you for providing modifications. You know, I never knew that I could do that move and do it differently. And thank you for saying it's okay to go slower, things like that. So it makes people feel welcome and like that they belong in these spaces. And that's my biggest push, is that everyone belongs in this space. Everyone is welcome here.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome feedback. Hopefully, if you're watching this live or if you're watching the recording later, you're starting to kind of envision how you can take little pieces of this advice and feedback and mold out your own strategy for not just building a subscriber base. And I'll give kudos to you, Jasmine. I think one of the things you've done really well is obviously every instructor would love to increase the income they earn through instructing. But the way you do that is not by focusing on the money. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but focusing on the value you provide. And I think you've done a really good job in providing that value to a lot of different walks of life that are coming to your class, and recognizing this is not a one size fits all workout. That's worked in your favor, and allowing more people to feel comfortable coming, subscribing, and getting value from those workouts. Thank you so much. If I didn't clear this with you beforehand, but I also know what kind of a person you are. If an instructor had some questions they wanted to ask you personally about things you're doing, is there a way they can kind of reach out to you and ask a few questions? What's the best way for that?
Yeah, definitely. I would love that. And I've been trying to kind of, follow everybody when I'm on there when I have time, and trying to find their Instagrams and follow people there as well. But the best way would be via email, just because it might get lost in my DM. So it's just Jasmine Losing It, which is my Instagram handle, Jasmine Losing It at gmail.com.